Hello everyone and welcome to this video by Beta CAE Systems. Today we'll demonstrate the new features of Meta version 21 in the area of model and results handling. We'll start with the support of creating and editing markers in Meta. If we open the annotations window, we may select markers and then choose to add markers on elements, nodes or 3D positions. If we pick and start selecting some elements from the screen, markers are instantly created on the fly in our model. There are three types of markers supported. We've got the stickers, which stay attached to the surfaces, so if we rotate the model we see that the stickers stay attached on them. We may choose flats, which are always normal to the screen, so in this case if we rotate the model we notice that they stay normal to the screen. Of course we can edit their size to preference to make them bigger or smaller. And lastly, we got spheres for a 3D representation. Apart from creating the markers on the fly by the annotations window, there is also a new set of commands introduced to handle them by using commands. So for instance, if we identified a few elements here, we could then go to Tools, Commands, type Marker, and we see that we've got a whole new set of commands to create and handle markers. So if we go to Add on Element and then Identified, we see that markers are instantly created on the identified elements. There is also a set of commands to handle markers which have been read in Meta by the supported solvers. So for Pamcrash, for instance, if we had some red markers, we could handle them using the commands from Model. Now let's delete these and move on to something different. We've got some new developments regarding the Sketch tool. So if we open the Sketch tool, so far for freehand sketches we had the Path tool. So if we create a freehand sketch using this tool, if we want to see something on a junction here for instance, and we create this sketch, we notice that if we rotate the model to a different view or a different angle, the sketch is not attached to the surfaces and it's basically on the air. Now, in order to address this, we've introduced a new tool called the Surface Path tool. So if we change to another color and use this new type of sketch, we can create a separate sketch on the same location, and we see that this one stays attached to the PIDs it was created from, which makes it easier to handle. Moving on to a different area, we will now see how we can perform calculations between states easily from the graphical user interface. For this purpose, we'll load two states for this model. So I'll choose the last state of step 1 and the last state of step 2. And as scalar results, I'm going to read the full stress tensor. Our purpose here is to work out the von Mises stress for the difference between these two states. In order to do that, we need to load the full tensor for each of these, perform the subtraction of the full tensors, and then, based on this result, work out the von Mises stress for our new state. I've got two states loaded, and for each of these, I've got my full stress tensor. Now, if we want to perform a calculation between some loaded states easily, we may select the option Calculate and then, for instance, Subtract. This window pops up where we may select the settings for our calculation and then Apply it. So in this case, we want to output a scalar label based on scalar results. We are prompted to select the minuend and the subtrahend for the subtraction. So the minuend will be step 2 and the subtrahend will be step 1. And the labels that we want to perform this calculation for will be selected from this menu here. So in our case, we want them all. So if we say OK and Apply, we see that we've got a new state created, and for this new state, we've got the full stress tensor calculated for the subtraction between states 2 and 1. Now, apart from performing this calculation quickly, we may now also choose to work out, for instance, the von Mises stress for our full stress tensor. So, from the same menu, if we now select from loaded results and then scalar, we can select to calculate the von Mises stress, for instance, for this newly created state, which holds the difference between states 1 and 2. So if we say OK and calculate results, we now have the von Mises stress for this new state we have created, which holds the difference between states 2 and 1. This brings us to an end regarding new features for model handling. Stay tuned for more videos about other disciplines in Meta version 21.